Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Forman, and today we're going to be talking about the lost LayZToy 2. We'll call it the LayZboy 2 because that's what it really is, and we could say that now, but we can't say it like long term because probably some people would get upset. But it's really the LayZboy 2. But on the board it says LayZToy, so hopefully that clears up any confusion. LayZToy 2, LayZboy 2. All right, so LayZboy 2. So LayZboy 1, probably not even probably, definitely one of our best-selling boards, especially for the long haul. The LayZboy, the OG LayZboy, was at Real 4, 5, 6 years and a consistent performer in the board loft. And throughout the course of that board being in production with Lost, like way ahead of its time, like that board was way ahead of all of the, kind of retro boards blowing up in the mid-lengths and the super easy to ride boards that are all happening now. That board was several years before that, and so it makes sense to come out with a second rendition of it. Looking at the LayZToy 2, which is the LayZboy 2, a lot of the things that came out through the refinements of the original LayZboy, meaning, really foiling out the rails more, kind of eking out a little bit more performance out of the board, like keeping all the super easy characteristics of the board, but giving it a little bit more performance. And a lot of it was just in the rail shape, really bringing the rails down, and then also adding this diamond tail into the board just to loosen it up a little bit, give it a little bit more break off the tail. Why is this style of board, or why is the LayZToy so popular? I would say the number one thing is that it stokes out the widest group of surfers. So you can take anything from like a mid-20s resort wear hipster like Jeffrey O'Neill, all the way to like myself or Matt Biolis or our kids. You could take somebody, progressing off of a longboard to their first shortboard. Any of those surfers are gonna like this board. And I'm gonna say probably the number one reason is because of how big the sweet spot is on the board, like where you could stand on the board. You could literally stand on this board, which is a 6'2". You could stand on the board from about here. Actually, you could probably stand on the board anywhere where that carbon strip is on the deck. So from here all the way to here, and it's gonna work. And so normally on a short board, like on a pointy nose short board, you have to stand here, and that's it. Like if you're here, all of a sudden the board just like comes to a screeching halt. So by having that really long sweet spot, you could stand up by accident in the wrong place, and you could also have it be a style or a functional thing, like where you're trimming from the center of the board, or you're cheater fiving from the front of the board, and the board's still gonna be going and flying down the line. The sweet spot's really open on this board, so open sweet spot, really elongated sweet spot. The other thing is how easy it catches waves. With the flatter rocker and the wider tail, it gets pushed into waves really easy. And it also has a lot of speed at takeoff and a lot of glide through the flat spots. Like having the extra volume and having not a super concave bottom, like just some subtle concaves and V, allows the board to really carry a lot of speed. The next reason that a lot of people like this board is that the LayZboy is open to being ridden at a lot of different volumes. So you can ride it almost down to like your shortboard performance volume. I wouldn't ride it that small because it doesn't have the concaves to float it super high in the water for a really, really low volume. But you can ride it about, a little bit more than your performance shortboard, your gravel volume, and then you could supersize it. You could basically ride it as big as you want. And so that's another reason that people really like this board, is that it's really hard to buy the wrong size. And so you can ride, like myself, I could ride this board 5'10", all the way up to as big as they make them, up to 7'2", and I'm gonna like each one of those boards, probably for a different characteristic of that board, but they're all gonna work. Where if I were to get a concave shortboard and try and ride it through that range of sizes, like it definitely wouldn't work as it got bigger, because it would really start overpowering the surfer. So the big sweet spot and your ability to have a bunch of different sizes that work. And so I always tell people on this board, especially if you're using this board to progress your skills, it's okay to go, if you're between two sizes, it's okay to pick the bigger size, because the board the extra volume really doesn't hurt this board. It's going to help you get more waves, and it's going to help you on the super small stuff, and then also in the bigger stuff, scraping into bigger waves. For fin setups on this board, they're all equipped as a 5-fin setup. This board has FCS2 plugs, this is the board I was using, and the 2-fin sets that I go to on this board. In this board, I was using the FCS2 split keels, the Mayhem split keels. If it was futures, you could also use the controllers. And those fins are basically like a keel fin split in half, and that's going to give you the most down the line linear drive for creating speed. So in like soft surf or surf that's bending away from you, or if you basically just need some additional help generating speed, that's going to be the fastest down the line fin. If you want to loosen the board up like noticeably and give up a little bit of that down the line in exchange for like ability to break the line on turns, then just going with like a standard Mayhem 5-fin set, either in FCS or futures, is going to be a good setup. And people are riding this board as a thruster, they're riding it as a quad, they're riding as a twin plus trailer. So there's a lot of different ways that you can set up based on your preference and the set, and the waves that you're surfing. They're available in 2 different constructions. The one that I have here is a C4, which is a cork carbon composite construction with a full cork deck and then painted over. So you're seeing through these little windows that the cork is here, but it's actually the entire deck of the board. And then this is an EPS epoxy construction. So this is a little bit lighter. It's also stringerless with the carbon reinforcements on the top and the bottom. So this board actually has a little bit more bend and rebound out of the turns. And then Lost is also making it in their standard PU poly construction, which does have a stringer, more standard weight, and with some nice resin tints as well. So it's the Lost LayZToy 2, available exclusively at Reel. And yeah, I mean, size is 5.0 for the Groms, which would actually be, either an awesome Grom board or a really lighter weight surfer's board, all the way up to the 7.2, which is just an absolute paddling machine. It'll get you a ton of waves, and that small amount of time that you have to go surf, it's going to convert it into a really good time. So Lost LayZToy 2, if you have any questions about this board or you'd like to place an order, you can give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.